everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Esquire. Today we will be going over the order on motion to recuse Judge Glanville in the YSL trial. We actually have three people asking for Judge Glanville to be removed. Defendant Kendrick, Defendant Williams, who of course is Young Thug. That's his real name. And then what's interesting here, we also have Kayla Bumpus, which is the attorney for the prosecution's star witness, Little Woody. So, two defendants and an attorney all asking for Judge Glanville to be removed. Okay, so let's get started. We have the order on motions to recuse Judge Glanville. If you're new here, the YSL trial is a Rico Trial case against Young Thug, aka Jeffrey Williams, who is a huge rapper out of Atlanta. Him and his record label were actually being accused of being a gang and attempting to commit crimes under this umbrella of a gang. Of course, YSL is saying that they are a record label, so is Young Thug. They're saying they are not a gang, that they have not committed these crimes, that these are just lyrics. And so not only are they on trial here, their lyrics are on trial. What brings us here today? So there was essentially an ex parte hearing. Ex parte hearing held on June 10th at 9:10 a.m. in Judge Glanville's office. And it was what they call an ex parte hearing. And essentially, ex parte hearing means only one side. So maybe the prosecution is just meeting with the judge or the defense is meeting with the judge, but only one side is meeting. And typically they don't allow ex parte hearings. There are some exceptions. And so in this particular case, Judge Glanville was meeting with the prosecutor's star witness attorney, Kayla Bumpus. And essentially, Brian Steele, who is Young Thug's attorney, was not present. Neither were any of the other defense attorneys present in this meeting in chambers. And so Attorney Brian Steele called him out on it in court, like, what's going on with this secret meeting? How come I wasn't invited? And Judge Glanville explained that he didn't need to attend the meeting, and he obviously explained why. But Attorney Brian said, I should have been there. This is another example of you being impartial and biased. And so Judge Glanville said, well, let's set this quote unquote secret meeting aside for just a second. How did you know that I even had this meeting? I must have a leak in my office. Tell me who told you. And so essentially he refused to tell who was in the meeting. And so he held him in contempt, arrested him on the spot, and then ordered him to essentially spend the rest of his sentencing on the weekends until he would admit who told him about the secret meeting. Obviously, a higher court threw that out, and right afterwards, here we are. Brian Steele, Kayla Bumpus, and another defense attorney for a defendant all filed this motion to recuse the judge because they feel like he's being impartial. And he's being biased and he's not being impartial. And so, long story short, we have what we have, a motion to recuse. And so you see the document here. And there are essentially three requirements of a motion to recuse. It's under Rule 25, the Uniform Rules of Superior Court Act, and essentially says that the motion has to be filed timely, supported by affidavit, and the facts alleged in the affidavit have to warrant recusal. Otherwise, the facts have to, if established as true, appear to make the judge appear to be biased. And so in this case, obviously the motion was filed timely, it was supported by an affidavit, and the facts themselves, if again alleged true, would make it appear that he was being biased by having this meeting with only one side. And so by him assigning it, by him pausing the trial and essentially assigning it to be reviewed, he essentially admitted that it at least appeared that he was being biased. And so the court ultimately in this order decided that the three elements were met by him even assigning this motion to be reviewed. Essentially, he was agreeing with them. And so Judge Glanville is no longer the judge in this case. A note about Judge Glanville in this case. The court actually sided with him to say that the actual substance of the meeting and the fact that the defense counsel not being present wasn't actually improper. The substance of the meeting was them discussing immunity for one of the other prosecutor's star witnesses, Mr. Copeland, who is temporarily being represented by attorney Kayla Bumpus, who also represents another prosecutor witness by the name of Little Woody. In this case, again, the substance wasn't improper. But the fact that the defense counsel didn't know about the meeting and didn't have an opportunity to be a part of the meeting, it gives the presence of biasness. It gives the presence that he's not being impartial. And so that was enough to recuse him from the case. Now that Judge Glanville has been removed from the case, we now have a new judge assigned. Her name is Judge Shakira Ingram, and she's actually a Black female judge. This should be interesting, seeing as how there's a lead Black female prosecutor, Fannie Willis, who's actually prosecuting Young Thug and the other defendants. Until next time, this has been your YSL Update. Thank you for joining the Entertainment Esquire.